Google Edson B chase. So I did. And what I found wasn't simply the story of one American serviceman. I found the story of a family whose lives intersected with generations of American military history. It begins with Warren and Lodia Chase of Newburyport, Massachusetts. The records show Warren and Lodia raising a large family, 2 daughters and 6 sons. Warren Jr., Frederick, William, Bernard, Edson, and Donald. And those 6 boys grew up, military service would become an extraordinary part of the Chase family story.
The oldest son, Warren Chase Jr., was born in 1922. During the Second World War, Warren served in the United States Army as a technician, 5th grade, and a telephone operator in the infantry. He spent nearly 2 years and 11 months overseas. A newspaper account credited Warren with service in campaigns stretching across Sicily, Naples, Foggia, Rome, Arno, southern France, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. He received the Good Conduct Medal, and his European, African, Middle Eastern campaign ribbon carried a bronze service arrowhead.
The arrowhead marked participation in an assault landing. From Massachusetts, Warren Chase had gone to war across Europe, and he wasn't the only Chase son who would serve. The next son was Frederick Clough Chase, born in 1925. The family called him Freddie. By 1945, a Newburyport newspaper pictured Freddie alongside his older brother Warren. Freddie had joined the United States Navy. The newspaper reported that he was beginning his 3rd year overseas after serving 11 months in the European theater and 14 months in the Pacific. It said he had taken part in some of the major naval battles against Japan. But another clipping captures a much quieter moment. At Christmas, Seaman Second Class Freddie Chase was home in Newburyport, spending the holiday with his parents before returning to duty. That wartime service would become a beginning of a remarkably long military career. Frederick remained in the Navy, eventually reaching the rank of Chief Boatswain's Mate. His record would span World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He was awarded the Purple Heart. When Frederick died in 2014, he was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery. William Chase, born in 1929, was another one of Warren and Lodia's sons to enter the military. William served in the United States Army from 1948 to 1952, reaching the rank of sergeant. His official military headstone application records his service during the Korean War. And after the military, the records give us another glimpse of ordinary life. The Newburyport newspaper announced William's engagement, identifying him as the son of Warren and Lodia Chase of White's Court. William died in 1981 at just 52 years old. When his military headstone was requested, the application was signed by his brother Edson. Bernard Chase, born in 1931, also chose military service. He entered the Army in August of 1948, trained at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and was sent overseas to Europe. By 1952, a Newburyport newspaper reported that Bernard had been stationed in Germany for 18 months and had been promoted to corporal. That same year, the newspaper placed Bernard beside his younger brother Edson beneath a remarkable headline, "Chase Brothers Claim Fine Record of Service to U.S." Bernard's story continued beyond those early years. His military headstone records his service in Korea and Vietnam, and the rank he ultimately carried, Sergeant First Class, United States Army. The newspapers also preserved pieces of the life happening between the military records. His engagement to Zelma, and later, the Christmas Day birth of their baby boy. Bernard lived until 2016. Another son of Warren and Lodia Chase, and another lifetime of service preserved in the records. Edson Burton Chase was born in Massachusetts in 1932, one of Warren and Lodia Chase's younger sons. In June of 1951, at just 18 years old, Edson entered the United States Army. By October, he was in Korea. A hometown newspaper later reported that Edson Chase was serving there with the 7th Infantry Division. Military records from 1952 also preserved the machinery behind those overseas movements, orders through Camp Stoneman, California, and troop movements aboard the USS Breckenridge. Back home in Newburyport, Edson's name continued to appear in the newspaper. In October 1953, 21-year-old Edson was rushed unconscious to Anna Jacques Hospital after apparently blacking out and falling down a flight of stairs. Police investigated and reported that there had been no foul play. The following year brought another very different newspaper notice. In April 1954, Edson was apprehended in Newburyport, being absent without leave, and returned to Army authorities in Boston. The surviving article doesn't tell us why he had gone AWOL. Just 2 months later, another notice appeared. Edson returned home, married, and began a family. In November 1956, Edson and his wife welcomed their son Edson Jr. Edson Burton Chase lived until 2020. His story was one that brought us here. But when we followed Edson Chase into the records, we didn't find just a story of one soldier. We found a family. Donald Gordon Chase was born in Newburyport on February 5, 1934, the youngest of Warden and Lodia Chase's children. By 1952, 18-year-old Donald was working as a dyer for the Merrimack Hat Corporation in Armsbury. That February, he registered for the draft as the Korean War continued overseas. Donald later married Barbara Jean. The couple lived in Vermont before moving to Florida in 1989. They remained together for more than 50 years, and remarkably, both died on the same day. But the Chase's family connection to the military service didn't end with Warren and Lodia's sons. Frederick Chase's son, Freddie Nicholas Chase, followed his father into military service. At only 19 years old, Freddie became a U.S. Army helicopter pilot. He trained at Fort Walters, Texas, as a member of a warrant officer, candidate class 68-35. He was sent to Vietnam, where he served with B Troop, 7th Squadron, 1st Cavalry, flying the small OH-6A Cayuse observation helicopter. On March 13, 1969, Freddie was flying an unarmed reconnaissance mission when his helicopter was struck by enemy small arms fire. A 7.62 millimeter round hit the engine compartment, forcing the aircraft down. The helicopter was destroyed. Freddie survived the forced landing, but he suffered a serious head wound while defending the crew's position on the ground. He was eventually evacuated by his troop commander and taken to a hospital. Freddie Nicholas Chase died from his wounds on March 14, 1969. He was 19 years old. His name is inscribed on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., panel 29W, line 36. It started with a conversation with Gwen and 4 simple words: Google Edson B. Chase. So I did. One search became another. One name led to a brother, and another, and eventually another generation. What began as a search for one man became the story of an American family whose lives crossed 3 wars and decades of military service. And somewhere behind all of those records, ranks, medals, and newspaper stories, they were simply a family. The story was reconstructed from military records, newspaper, genealogical records, memorials, and other historical sources. Family histories can be complicated, and surviving records are not always complete. If I have misidentified a person, confused a relationship, or gotten any part of the Chase family story wrong, I welcome corrections and will amend the record. And all of this is because Gwen told me to Google Edson B. Chase.